This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. Today is Indigenous Veterans Day. It is a time to remember the sacrifices of Indigenous soldiers both on the battlefield and when they returned home. CBC's Peggy Lamb has more.
Here at the Royal Canadian Aviation Museum, more than 100 came to share a moment of silence and show their respect for Indigenous veterans. A call to action to honor all veterans. It's what Métis veteran Jack Park is thinking about on this day.
I think it's very significant for our history because a lot of our Métis veterans went through hell and back, so to speak, after the war when they came back home to nothing.
When Indigenous soldiers came back from World War II, they weren't given benefits like other Canadian soldiers. It took them decades to get equal compensation from the government. Today at the ceremony, we spoke to Métis veteran Sean Nolt. He served for decades and says it hasn't always been easy.
I've always protected people, whether I was in uniform or out of uniform. I would stand up for those who needed to be defended.
But one of the most challenging things for him was dealing with the racism. He says people in the service used to call him derogatory names. Today, Nolt's words influenced a crowd as he honored Métis veterans, including his family members who lost their lives in war. Peggy Lamb, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Harvest Manitoba is calling the number of people requesting food hampers unprecedented. President and CEO Vince Barletta says last month more than 15,000 hampers were handed out. That is well over the September total of 11,000 hampers. Barletta says inflation and the rising cost of food is hitting people hard, and he's worried that increasing costs of food means fewer people are also able to put a tin in the bin.
Well, we've never seen numbers like this here at Harvest Manitoba, and the story's the same all across the country. People are coming to food banks in record numbers. We've seen a 40% increase in food bank usage here in Manitoba just in the last year alone.
Barletta says the recent increase in the minimum wage and support checks from the government are helping, but not much. The Pfizer infant COVID vaccine should be available in Manitoba this week. The province says the vaccine was approved for use just today. It is recommended for children between the ages of 6 months and 4 years old. It is being distributed to clinics and pharmacies. Now, it is a 3-dose series. Each dose is supposed to be given 8 weeks apart. Well, what you pay to insure your vehicle in Manitoba may change down the road depending on who you let drive it. The Public Utilities Board wants Manitoba Public Insurance to determine rates based on who is actually driving the vehicle versus who it is registered to. It directed MPI to develop a 5-year plan to implement that change. MPI tried to appeal the directive, but today a judge rejected that appeal. The Stephenson government says our province must do more to protect one of our most valuable resources, our water. CBC's Ian Fraze reports.
From floods to droughts, the water levels in this province matter. It has consequences for our economy, our food, and our health. Today, the province unveiled a new strategy to manage all that water.
What I truly believe is a watershed moment for the people and the province of Manitoba.
The strategy serves as a guiding document for a province trying to protect its water resources, especially in the south, where communities and businesses are growing.
Countless conversations I've had with growers and other businesses about the need for more reliable and adequate supplies of water. For too long in this province, we have treated water as a liability instead of an asset.
This strategy focuses on conservation. It floats the idea of a new water pricing structure, but nothing's been decided on that idea or any other. The environment minister says coming up with a plan matters. In this province, river levels fluctuate from too low to too high, sometimes in only a year's time.
Climate change is here and we need to adapt to it, and we know that every drop matters, and going forward we need to ensure that we are utilizing this precious resource in a manner that's sustainable for future generations.
Water usage is only expected to rise. Manitoba's population is expected to grow by 360,000 people in about 20 years, and without a concerted effort, the available water supply may not be enough. Ian Fraze, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Well, it was a special night at Canada Life Centre tonight as the Winnipeg Jets hosted their first ever Filipino Heritage Night. That's the Filipino choir Musica opening the evening with anthems. Filipino DJs and food were also on hand at the rink tonight. The Jets also showed off a special logo here, the Filipino Jets logo with the colors of the Filipino flag.
I'm very excited. I see a bunch of people Filipino around me, and it's just really nice to see.
I just love it. I come to the games all the time, but this is just so much more special just because they're honoring our Filipino heritage. And
having us get together in a game setting, especially here in Winnipeg, it really means a lot to the Filipino communities.
Now, that wasn't the only thing happening at the rink this evening. NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman was also in town tonight as part of a tour of NHL venues. He took questions from reporters, including about the need for diversity in the game.
We want everybody, no matter who they are, where they're from, what they believe in, to feel comfortable and to be a part of our game. My understanding is that the Filipino population represents 10% of the population of Winnipeg, and so I think it's yet another group of constituents in this city that we want to encourage to be a part of our game.
By the way, the Jets won tonight 5-1 over the Dallas Stars. Jason Robertson scoring that lone Dallas goal tonight. His mother, by the way, is Filipino. Here is a look outside tonight. Meteorologist John Sauder is in next with his weather forecast. Stay with us.
This weather update is brought to you by Capital Ford Lincoln. 22 model clear-out is on now.
Well, it was all rain here in southern Manitoba while it was still snowing across the north, and there is more snow moving into northern Manitoba tonight. Generally 2 to 5 centimeters, and then that will move off to the east tomorrow. Here in the south, we've had some drizzle today, mixing with a few flurries overnight. Wednesday looks like generally a cloudy day, and I did mention these flurries that'll continue to move off along the Hudson Bay coast and out towards Shamattawa at the end of the day. Here in the south, we've got a chance for a late day flurry, but again, generally cloudy, breezy from the north, and then to the south of us, a Colorado low. Lots of snow through North Dakota, Montana, and a lot of this is snow mixed with rain in Minnesota, but it looks now like it is really going to stay generally south of Manitoba. The southeast corner of the province, late day Thursday, may start to see a little bit of snow and with that some wind. But in the meantime, we have -2 tonight, some drizzle mixing with flurries through the rest of the evening hours and a little bit of that overnight. Then cloudy in the morning, afternoon still cloudy with a chance of flurries and temperatures falling to about -3 by the end of the day. Cooler as we approach Remembrance Day and the weekend, -5 on Friday and a pair of -6s on the weekend.
Thank you, John. That's your late news for this Tuesday. Thanks so much for being with us tonight. We'll see you tomorrow at 6 and 11. Have a great evening.